He said, the reason why men become misogynists, he said they don't become misogynists because they are rejected by women. He said they become misogynists because women will sit there and waste their time, pretend to be their friend or pretend to be attracted to them. Men will put time and resources into those women, and then along the way, the same women, while she's crying on his shoulder, and she's like, oh my God, I just Bob last night and I just met him. Like, what? I've been sitting here putting all my time and effort in you, and you just some guy you just met? Yeah. That is when men become misogynists.
Yeah, like, honestly, even, like, my boyfriend now, like, I tell him, too, I was like, you honestly weren't my regular type. And he ended up being my soulmate in my eyes because I was into, like, douchebags before him. So it's like, I would not have given him a chance, but I was like, oh, he's nice, he's funny. And then I was like, oh, shoot, like, I just took a chance on a good guy, even though that wasn't my type before, you know?
What was your type?
I'd say guys with, like, huge egos.
Oh,
yeah, and he's a very, like, humble
From
person.
that. Huge egos.
Yeah, like, that was my type before him, like, always huge egos, like, not good intentions, and then my boyfriend now is very, like, humble, amazing intentions.
Question for you. So how many of the jerks and boys did you have to go through before you gave him a shot?
Honestly, I'd say quite a lot. Like, hookup culture toxic, because it was toxic. It was so bad for my mental health. The guys were terrible, and it's refreshing not to have that anymore.
Hey, just curious, what do you think it's like for his mental health?
Yeah.
What do you think that's like? Because she's on whatever podcast, and 25,000 people are watching.
That's absolutely
And
true.
she's saying, I went through a bunch of fuck boys, and now I'm settled with you because it was so bad for my mental health. What do you think it was like for his mental health?
Yeah.
What do you think that was like? I'm just curious.
She probably has daddy issues.
That is downplaying him.
Now, how does he feel?
Yes, I agree.
How does he feel?
It's so down. It's so disrespectful towards him, like insanely.
Yeah, I mean, but the thing is, like, it still
not gonna feel
happens.
good about that.
It still happens. Like, guys, I got bad news for you. If you meet a girl and you start dating her and she's like 31, 32, she probably had more than 50% chance, unless she was married the entire time. She probably had a period in college or early 20s where she drank a little bit, and she may have had sex with 2 or 3 guys in a month. And it's like, you know, that's just how it is. I think it's one of the issues. If you are a guy who's been with a lot of women, you can maybe deal with it or maybe not. But if you were one of the guys who kept getting passed over and put in the friend zone, and then you get with a girl who's in her 30s who she goes, I'm tired of having my fun. I had my fun, but I'm not going to do that anymore with you.
No more fun for you.
Honey, please take out the trash so I can give you a job. Nobody clip that. But like that, maybe that's what she's saying. You know what I'm saying? Like what Sheryl Sandberg says, find them sexy when they take out the trash and do the lawn work. You know, that kind of thing. Maybe that's the case. Now, here's the thing. Alan Roger Curry, he wrote a book called Mode 1. And I don't agree with everything in the book, but I agree with, I don't agree with his offense. I don't think you should go that direct. But I do agree with his defense about like people wasting your time. And one of the things he says that I really, really, really agree with, he said, the reason why men become misogynists, he said they don't become misogynists because they are rejected by women. He said they become misogynists because women will sit there and waste their time, pretend to be their friend or pretend to be attracted to them. Men will put time and resources into those women, and then along the way, the same women, while she's crying on his shoulder, and she's like, oh my God, I just Bob last night and I just met him. Like, what? I've been sitting here putting all my time and effort in you, and you just some guy you just met? Yeah. That is when men become misogynists. That's why I do recommend another, I don't want to give a ton of advice on the show, but one other piece of advice I would give you ladies is be very direct when you have no intention of having with a guy.
Oh, for sure.
Because if you do not, and he continues to waste his time and effort on you, and then finds out later that you are having sex with some other man who is not giving you time and effort, he will resent you and possibly women overall. Yeah. Go ahead, Paris.
Do you know why they wouldn't do that?
Why? Who wouldn't do what?
So a female who has a secure blanket, that's a man, right? This man is interested of her. He is like obsessed with her. He dreams about her, but she's over here coming to him as a blanket, like, oh, he did me so dirty. He did this to me. He did that to me. Da 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 da. That's for me. That's like a simp.
We call that an emotional tampon. Is what that is.
Emotional tampon.
Yeah.
But understand this, like a woman who's finding him useful, she's not going to be honest with him. She's not going to be like, oh yeah, you're just my tampon. I'm just going to throw away until I get the next one who's going to hear my bullshit. Like, dead ass. Like, females have these type of men around because they don't have a therapist. And this is why females should have therapists, because that's in a professional, healthy way to speak to. So no one's not going to tell your bullshit around. And yeah,
I agree with what you're saying, but I also believe that it goes both ways. That's just me being honest.
for sure.
Men do have women around just, to have them around as a backup. And that's fine. It's part of human nature. We cannot control people and what their intentions are. We can just control ourselves.
Control how you react
and
to the
I don't care what no one
situation.
says. If someone's playing you or if you're a friend zone dude, don't be delusional. Coming from a former delusional girl. I'm just saying.
So I will say this. Armani.
Yes.
A lot of times men are more susceptible to being on the autism spectrum, and because of that, they can't tell.
exactly.
They can't tell, which is why, ladies, you have to
More
be.
and more guys are on that spectrum.
More and more guys are on the spectrum. So here's the thing: if they can't tell, then you have to be like, I'm not going to have sex with you. Like, you have to be. And the thing is, you might. I'm going to lose him as a friend, and I'm going to hurt his feelings. No, you're going to hurt his feelings when he finds out that you Steve last week, and Steve didn't even buy you dinner.
Or you go on whatever podcast and say, I had a bunch of guys and I had a boy face.
I had a boy face.
I don't know who that guy was, the male guest on there, but his soul looked like crushed when she was talking about all this stuff.
Guys are not ever like around women as a friend unless they are expecting to you at some point.
Red, I think that's mostly the case, but I don't think that's always the case, just in part because if you're a guy and you have a lot of options, there's a lot of women you don't find attractive, and you can be friends with them. And I'm just saying that from my standpoint, Tyler, probably the same way. It's like most of the females we interact with, we're just friends with, because like I find less than 1% of women attractive. It's not like I find them unattractive. It's just like if you're around enough beautiful women, it's very easy to be friends with women. But for the most part, I agree with you. If you just did a 15-month deployment in Iraq and you came back real hard to be friends with women, totally agree with you. But if you are a manager at a strip club and you have a girlfriend and another girl on the side and you like consistently having sex with whoever you want, and you work with 40 to 60 girls every night,
my husband's that.
Yeah, so, you're gonna. I'm sorry, but like I know some people like to disagree with me. If you disagree with me, talk to a successful club promoter. He's gonna agree with me. He's gonna be like, dude, it's just so many girls. Like, yes, of course I'm friends with them. The girls bring more girls, and we're just cool, and they celebrate my birthday, and it's fine. So if you do that, like for my birthday, what I do is I create a group chat. I take my 4 closest female friends and my girlfriend, and they're like a committee of 4, and then I put another 80 girls in the group chat, and they throw my birthday party, and they don't tell me. That's how I do it every year. So you can, but you're right, most guys can't.
There's nothing wrong with it. Like guys having friends, like there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. I'm talking about like the naive women that are using them as a clutch.
Yes. By the way, we're going to go over a study later on today about height and number of lifetime sexual partners based on height. But the funny thing is, this is really crazy. Did you know taller women have more lifetime sexual partners?
No.
Isn't that crazy?
Where'd that come from?
And shorter women have fewer It's really crazy. I thought that was interesting. Shorter men have more sex with their married partners and are less likely to leave the relationship.
Yeah.
And then from the same study.
It's opportunism, I'm sure.
It is really interesting, isn't it? Yep. All right, so